Very good morning to you. It is 7 a.m. Monday, August 25th, 2025. That means there's only like 6 days left in August. How does that happen? Welcome to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. You like the math there? We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. Some areas of patchy fog this morning, then mixed sun and clouds today. Really not a bad day at all. Highs in the low to mid 80s. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with a first check of the Garden State forecast. Mike, am I right? 25 plus 6 is, 64 or something?
Wild, right? I know. Labor Day weekend coming up real fast. But
Man.
with it, I think we get a decent week ahead, right? A lot of people on vacation this week, taking advantage of all that sun. And you will get a fair amount of sun. Still, the rip current issues at the beaches today, with all, of course, of that wind around and a little bit of the wave heights that have been running high over the weekend. As far as the rain right now, there's just a little spot moving through central New Jersey. This is a little bit of wet weather, even down the shore. It should clear out in the next few hours. So we're looking at a decent day ahead with the small craft advisory, primarily due to the wind and, of course, those waves that are still out and about. We'll start off the day on a cool note: 66 up in Morristown, 72 in Newark, and 66 right now down in Atlantic City. So plenty of mild weather. In fact, running anywhere from 2 to 9 degrees warmer than this time yesterday, with the dew points a little bit higher, slightly more humidity in the air today. A little bit of that wet weather came through last night, a few of those sprinkles now wrapping up. And then I think we'll see the sunshine return shortly if it's not already out there. Just a few clouds around for early this morning. Light winds out of the southeast today at the beaches from Ship Bottom toward Atlantic City and Cape May. And then a front comes through and pushes on by, and that will dry us out with a westerly wind and make it feel much more comfortable into tomorrow. You can see it here drawn in the clouds, a lot of those clouds dissipating by this afternoon, leading to a sunnier but drier finish with temperatures this evening warming into the mid 80s, cooling off to about 81 in Newark by this afternoon. And then a chilly start to the day tomorrow. That's a fall feel. 50 up in Sussex tomorrow morning, 57 in Mount Holly, 62 in Cape May. Let you know that summer is winding down, especially with temperatures that only rebound tomorrow afternoon into the upper 70s and maybe touching 80 there in Hackensack. Could be another round of clouds tomorrow evening, but beyond that, we look pretty dry through the middle of this week. Very pleasant throughout Wednesday and Thursday. Temperatures this week moderate, not all that hot, and it'll stay very pleasant going into the end of the week as well, with those highs even struggling to even get much beyond the mid 70s. So Erin is far out to sea, not an issue anymore. And now Fernand is the next name system, which is in the Atlantic, not a threat to any land, and probably won't even stir up the waves all that much. So with temperatures this week quite cool by comparison, a few degrees below average, we'll enjoy the little bit of a cooler feel, especially with those chilly mornings, Ken. Wake up temperatures in the 50s by the end of the week. So some cool stuff on the way.
Wait a second. It sounded, let me just get off my IFB here. It almost sounded like you said temps in the 50s, but I know that's not
50s.
possible.
Yeah, in the morning, as soon as tomorrow morning up in northern New Jersey, but the rest of New Jersey has to wait until Wednesday, Thursday timeframe to check into that nice chilly, brisk morning feel.
I'm just saying the day that you use the S word, I'm just
Mm.
going to get up and walk right out. There's a door right behind me. I'm done. I'm just telling you. Okay. All right, Mike. Thank you very much, my dear friend. It is 67 degrees right now. Yes, 67, not that other word. And in Trenton, New Jersey, a little bit cooler, 66 degrees. In terms of traffic, take a look. We already have something. This is on the Garden State Parkway, a crash. You can see being tended to right now by police. Fortunately, they have everybody safely off to the side. This is northbound, north of exit 124 Main Street in Sayreville. That right shoulder is blocked, but you could see they're not even brake checking. Everyone's like, Byum. Remember, when there is a police officer or a crash like that in the on the shoulder, you're supposed to get over an extra lane. So I know a lot of people think, what the heck? No, you never know who might open up a door into that lane. So please try to get over into the middle lane to try to give them space. We also have a disabled truck on the Goethals Bridge eastbound on the New York side headed into New Jersey. Right lane is blocked. crash on the Parkway northbound, a little further south of what you just saw. It is north of the Driscoll Bridge in Sayreville. The right shoulder's blocked there. We have a down pole on Route 130 in both directions. So this went right across the roadway south of New Jersey Turnpike, Pennsylvania Extension in Florence Township. All lanes are closed. And we have a crash on North Avenue westbound from North Avenue to Kaplowski Road in Elizabeth. That is a very trafficked road. I know it's not too far from the airport. The right lane is blocked there. We also have delays on Route 4 northbound from just east of the Turnpike by the GWB, and that goes all to 1 and 9 in Fort Lee. All lanes are open, but about 2 miles of delays just due to volume at this hour. Right now, we take a look at the approaches to the Hudson River. Right now, the Lincoln and Holland are both reporting only 10 minutes. This is the GWB upper and lower levels 80-95 approach. You can see just swimmingly, moving swimmingly. Delightful. Never get to say delightful. So take advantage of it. 7:06 is our time. Another water main break in Paterson happened on Saturday morning. Another one. But we had the guy who's in charge of the Passaic Valley Water Authority on the other day. He was awesome. He's working his butt off. They are working their butt off. This is 145-year-old infrastructure, folks. They should have been dealt with by literally 2 or 3 administrations ago. So that right there is what they have to deal with now. This is a massive main. This is actually bigger than the main that broke a couple of weeks ago. The main that broke, that they had a 24-inch main and a 30-inch main. This is a 42-inch main on North First and Arch Streets. It sent water and mud cascading through the city. The Passaic Valley Water Commission says that it's unrelated to that earlier break, but it just tells you how old the infrastructure is. Can you imagine? Thank God it happened now, and it didn't happen in the freezing cold weather. So residents in the Riverside section are going to be facing low pressure or no water service at all. There's a boil water advisory in effect for parts of Patterson, Prospect Park, Halden, North Halden. Once again, no timeline for repairs have been announced. At least they found it. Remember last time they couldn't find one of the 2 breaks. This time they know where it is. Now they have to locate replacement pipe. It's not like you just go down to the Home Depot and get, hey, I need a 42-inch replacement pipe. It's going to be a lot of work. The good news is, as you can see, it's an isolated section. They don't have to replace 300 feet. My bet, if they locate that pipe, they'll have it done in a day, but they got to locate the pipe first. Good people, they're working hard. Cut them a little slack. They're working their butts off. 7:07, a tragic boating accident happened in Barnegat Bay, Little Egg Harbor Township, claimed the life of 56-year-old Carl Chen from Princeton. This happened yesterday morning. State police say that a 27-foot Robolo boat hit a large wake and that ejected both passengers. The boat then circled, fatally striking Chen. The other passenger also got hurt. The incident happened in Ocean County, 10 o'clock yesterday. Police are now investigating. But that happens. If you're a boater, you never know. You get that rogue wake, could flip the boat or certainly put it on its side partly and eject you. And then it's happened to me. I've been in a boat that did that once, and it wasn't because they were driving recklessly. It just happens. Poor man unfortunately lost his life. 7:08. Another boating incident, tragedy in Long Beach yesterday. Police say a man was killed when 2 people were thrown from a boat there off of Long Beach Island. First responders got the call about 10 a.m. about this boat accident. The incident happened in Barnegat Bay. A man was thrown from the boat, was later found dead by divers half an hour later. The other man rescued by a nearby boat. No one's been identified yet, and police are investigating. A tour bus returning from Niagara Falls overturned on I-90 near Pembroke, New York. That's up near Buffalo, killing 5 people and injuring dozens of others. The bus lost control, rolling into a ditch. Several passengers got tossed from the bus. Among the fatalities, a Columbia University student, 3 citizens of New Jersey, and 1 citizen of India. The driver, who did not appear impaired, may have just become distracted. He said he may have overcompensated when he was trying to avoid something on the road. The National Transportation Safety Board is now investigating. 7:09, a tragic loss in South Jersey. 22-year-old Nick Danbrownie, a promising baseball star, died in a car crash August 18th in North Carolina. The Barnegat native and Ramapo College's all-time strikeout leader. Danbrownie had recently signed with the Bakersfield Train Robbers minor league team. Police say that he was thrown from a vehicle driven by 63-year-old Rosario Edgar, who also died. His friends say that Danbrownie had a competitive spirit and infectious humor. There's a GoFundMe that was set up. It's raised over $36,000 so far for his family to take care of costs. 7:10, New Jersey health officials warn NJ Transit riders may have been exposed to measles by a Hudson County resident who traveled on trains while infectious. The exposure risk spans August 13th to the 15th. So if between the 13th and the 15th of August, you are on the Hudson Bergen Light Rail, Path Newark World Trade Center line, and stations in Bayonne and Jersey City, watch for symptoms. The symptoms could occur anytime from now through September 11th. So just beware if you develop any symptoms. They're like flu-like symptoms. You could look it up. There are all the details of what happens when you start to get measles. Officials say if you think you were exposed and you have symptoms, don't just show up somewhere. Don't just go to your doctor's office. Don't just go to the ER. Call your doctor. Stay home because you don't want to spread it if, in fact, you are infected. And it can be taken care of. So it's not like if you have measles, the end of the world. If you take care of it, you can get over it, but don't spread it. 7-Eleven. Tensions flared in Trenton on Thursday as community members confronted ICE agents making arrests in the Chambersburg neighborhood. Mayor Reed Gusora said that agents chased a person to a home on Bayard Street, leading to a standoff after a warrant was denied. Congresswoman Bonnie Watson Coleman criticized ICE for not following protocol, noting one man with a pending green card was detained. Let me just clarify something, good Congresswoman. And by the way, I had to go over this with my mind calmly so I didn't shout out any kind of defamatory comments to the Congresswoman because I wanted to call her ignorant, stupid, and dumbass moron, but I'm not going to do that on the air. Oh, did I just let that slip? Here's a little something. You're supposed to be a United States Congresswoman elected by the people, and you have no idea about federal law. All right, so the Congresswoman says that ICE was wrong in detaining a guy who had a pending green card. Having a pending green card is like having a pending driver's license. It means nothing. That's like, I know the feds are after me. I'll apply for a green card now. It could take 6 years to get one. You are now liable and eligible for being deported. And if you're the dumbass moron who thinks that applying for a green card is the same thing as having a green card, you should be put in jail for being stupid. Okay? You should not be elected to the United States Congress. And any member of the media who willingly reported her comment without giving the background that she doesn't know what she's talking about, you are negligent. You are negligent. You don't deserve to be a member of the media. All you have to do is Google it and you'll find out that having a pending green card ain't having a green card. It just means you applied. Guess what? The feds could take a look and say, hey, he's a criminal in his home country. You're denied. Having a pending green card simply means you applied. It doesn't mean you've been granted, and it doesn't mean you have any special status to say. You could apply for a green card and go home, and then we'll let you know. And when we let you know, you can come back. So having a pending green card means nothing. It does not prevent you from being deported. If you had a pending driver's license, you wouldn't go driving. And if you got stopped for speeding, you tell the cop, oh, I know I don't have my driver's license. I have a pending driver's license. Try that and see as they haul you away in cuffs what would happen to you. You are still illegal at the moment. Trenton police maintained peace, but under the leftist New Jersey Democrat sanctuary state law, officers were forbidden from assisting ICE agents in any way. It just makes me scratch my head and wonder, how do people get elected when they are that stupid? Either she's stupid or she's lying. But it's one of those two. So pick your poison, Congresswoman. Are you a dumbass or are you a liar? 714, New Jerseyans buying health insurance through the Get Covered New Jersey marketplace face a 16% premium hike in 2026, state officials announced on Thursday. The increase affecting 512,200 enrollees stems from rising healthcare costs and expiring federal tax credits under the Affordable Care Act. Nearly 90% of users benefit from these subsidies, which save about $700 a year. Open enrollment starts November 1st, with experts warning lower income families could face severe financial strain without renewed federal aid. 714, and Kilmar Abrego Garcia, he's that Salvadoran migrant whose months-long court fight has emerged as a flashpoint of the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. He's the guy they deported back to El Salvador, but because a liberal judge under the Biden administration had said he can be deported, but you just can't be deported to El Salvador, even though that's the only country on the planet that he's actually a citizen of, which makes no sense. And apparently it was because he was a member of a gang that no longer exists in El Salvador. And as a member of that gang, there were other gangsters after him. So can you imagine you're a member of a gang in America, you go running to Paris and say, you have to let me in because I'm fleeing a gang back in the US. They would chuckle, put you in jail. Only here do we somehow have liberals who think that that excuses things. But the bottom line is he's accused of beating his wife, which she called the police on him twice for. Not once, twice. Once, maybe, misunderstanding, twice. He was caught on videotape trafficking illegals and trafficking potentially kidnapped people across the country multiple times. So, and then not to mention, he's not supposed to be here. He was deported multiple times and he kept coming back. But yet the liberals are using this as a hill to die on. And they insist he shouldn't be deported. But he has deportation papers that actually were formed under the Biden administration. They just didn't carry them out. So now he's being told that he's actually on TV right this second. And he's being told, you have a choice. You could either fight this, and we are going to deport you, and we will report you to a facility in Uganda, because the Ugandans were nice enough to set up a facility for us, just like El Salvador did. Or if you voluntarily admit guilt to all these things so that you can't come back, because we don't want him applying to legally come back again because he is an alleged criminal. Alleged. Notice I said alleged. He hasn't been convicted. But he is an alleged criminal. We don't want an alleged criminal. And we shouldn't have to spend the money to try you here. I'm sorry. So he is being told, and of course, all the liberals are backing him now. And this is what liberals do. You will back a criminal, but you won't back a U.S. citizen. It's unbelievable. So this guy is now standing there acting all high and mighty because he's a father. He's a father. So you got a woman pregnant out of wedlock. Then you married her when you found out that the feds were coming after you. And then when they say they're going to deport you back to the country you're a citizen of, you complain that I'm a dad. So the liberals fight to get you back because a previous Biden judge said you should be deported anywhere but the country, the only country on the planet that we can deport you to, because that's where you're a citizen. So you're in the United States, an alleged criminal. Now you're given a choice, either go to Uganda, which we will force you to go to, or if you admit guilt, we will send you to Costa Rica, which we don't have to do. We're being nice because the Costa Rican facility is apparently pretty nice. I don't know what the decision was. He's right now in Baltimore. There are about 100, 150 people rallying around him, supporting him. I guarantee most of them were rented. We know we've had the people on this show who admit that all these rallies are fake. When you see these rallies on TV, these are staged. These people get paid to show up. It's all propaganda, folks. This goes back 100 years. The communists did it. The Nazis did it. They're doing it today. They're punking you. They think you're stupid. They forget that this is the day of the internet. These people are phony. Let me ask you something. Would you get your ass out of bed 7 o'clock when you got to go to work on a Monday morning to go protest to keep somebody in the United States who's here illegally, who allegedly beat his wife and he drove a van full of illegal migrants across the country and should be deported? Or really, would you, out of the goodness of your heart, show up and protest at 7 a.m.? I doubt you would. They're paid. They get paid a couple of $100, folks. So don't buy the BS. He will be deported today, either to Uganda, if he denies going in and denies his guilt, or if he admits his guilt, he gets to go to a nice place in Costa Rica, and we'll see what happens there. But he's not allowed back in the U.S. 718 right now, 68 degrees, some patchy fog this morning, then mixed sun and clouds today, highs low to mid 80s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta returns with your full Garden State forecast, and we will take your calls at 888-658-0234. You're watching on New Jersey Mornings. Don't go away. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings for your Monday. I'm Ken Rosato, 720 right now, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Some patchy fog this morning, then mixed sun and clouds. Not a bad day at all. Highs in the low to mid 80s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta explains with the full Garden State forecast. And you have more tropical activity, but it's again a fish storm.
It is again a fish storm, not even impacting Bermuda. I mean, this one swings way out to the right. So we're looking good at the beaches
Like
today
me.
and really for the rest of this week. Will I say that again?
I said like me.
Like,
Swings way out to the right.
It,
Sorry, I didn't mean to
it is the
interrupt.
perfect allegory for the show. There you go. We've got a very pleasant start to the day. Starting off on the right foot, that is, especially with plenty of clear sky this morning. There will be a few lingering clouds, especially out toward Freehold and Matawan, with mostly a little bit of a wet start thanks to some showers moving through this morning, but they'll be gone in the next few hours, leading to lots of sunshine this afternoon and temperatures that ultimately climb into the mid 80s, but a comfortable 85, 86 degrees, certainly nothing too humid, as a couple of these showers working through last night, really dissipating by the time they reach us. And that is the drier weather that will usher in a cooler feel come this time tomorrow. So take some time. There's the system off to the north, kind of spinning through a few of these clouds and showers, most of them exiting by this afternoon. And that dropping temperatures and the humidity, so the dew point or the temperature where the air is saturated, is very low going into tomorrow morning, the 40s. That is a fall feel. Remember, anything 60 or higher is muggy, 70s or higher is tropical. We're going to enjoy a nice dry fall feel, not just for tomorrow, but for the next several days this week, even going into Wednesday and Thursday, with that low humidity dropping right down to the shore, making it feel like fall about a week early, at least. With overall a nice dry week ahead, there could be a few sprinkles on the way for Friday, but Saturday is gorgeous, nice and sunny. Beautiful way to start the weekend. Lovely with the clear sky in play. I think Sunday could have a few extra clouds. Kind of it has been, that's been the case just about every weekend. We start off Friday beautiful, Saturday is sunny, and then Monday brings in a few clouds. Monday may also have some clouds, but right now we look dry. It's into Tuesday that our next rain system comes in. So it's a close call in terms of Labor Day sun going forward. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Fernand, way out to sea, not an issue for us, but at least the weekend is dry with Saturday looking sunny. Sunday could have a few more clouds, but overall it's a nice warm one with highs climbing back into the upper 70s. And the 7 day forecast, Ken, that's coming up in our next weather segment, doesn't have a drop of rain on it, at least overall. No rainy days forecast, so a very dry period ahead with a little taste of fall in our last week of August.
A little taste of fall, you say? All right, very nice, Mike. Thank you so much, sir. Unfortunately for me, a taste of fall means no more summer. I know. I know. Pam, our director, is like, woo, love my fall, love my winter. I know. I know. I'm just whiny. We had such a beautiful summer. I should not be greedy, but I guess I am. 68 degrees right now. Let's take a look at this. This is New Jersey Turnpike. There is the ramp to the southbound Garden State Parkway from interchange 11. The right shoulder's blocked. You could see why right there. There is well, there was a truck. Oh, there is. There we go. Okay. So there's a truck and an SUV there on the right shoulder. I think the truck is helping the SUV. Probably broke down. Police are there as well. So you could see folks slowing down. Again, this is on the, oh, this was a crash. That's why there was a crash between them. The southbound Garden State Parkway ramp to southbound Garden State Parkway from interchange 11 in Woodbridge. The right shoulder is blocked. We have a crash and a down pole on North Avenue westbound to Kaplowski Street, Kaplowski Road, rather, in Elizabeth. That's a big stretch, about a mile of traffic because the right lane is blocked. Now, I don't know if you were able to get this, Pam. If you can go to the 130 camera, US 130 at NJ Turnpike. I want to show everybody this. US 130 at NJ Turnpike. Pam will bring that up in a moment. So there's a down pole apparently on 130 in both directions south of the Turnpike, Pennsylvania extension. And this is in Florence Township. All lanes are open northbound, but the lanes are closed southbound. So again, it's US 130 at NJ Turnpike. There it is. Look at that. So that's what we were talking about. That's a downed pole causing this, and this is both directions. It was impacting, but apparently they have closed No, what did they do here? I'm sorry. They have the down pole on US 130. It says in both directions, south of the Turnpike, Pennsylvania Extension in Florence, all lanes are open northbound. So on the left side of the road, you can see the lanes are open, but the lanes are now closed on the southbound side, which you could see that police car pulling off to the right. You can't get past those emergency vehicles. Okay. Sometimes it's good that we have the cameras. We also have a crash on the Garden State local lanes northbound, north of exit 124 Main Street in Sayreville with the right shoulder blocked on the Hudson River crossing. Still very good at the Holland and the Lincoln tunnels. GWB is also a good ride. It's only 10 minutes across upper and lower levels of the 8095 approach. 7:25 is our time, and Governor Murphy signed 2 bills on Friday to boost New Jersey's so-called renewable energy, aiming to curb soaring electricity prices that Murphy and the Democrats in Trenton caused to soar in the first place when they closed down 5 fossil fuel power plants and 1 nuclear plant in the last 5 years, before any so-called green energy plants could even be proposed, let alone built. One bill would supposedly add 3,000 megawatts of community solar, powering 1 million homes by 2028, while the other funds 1,000 megawatts of battery storage by 2030, with up to 10 million in incentives per project. The problem is those power rates that you just saw those huge increases in, until they get these things built, you're going to be paying more for power. And it's entirely the cause of the Democrats, because this was totally avoidable had they not closed the power plants that existed before they had the new plants online. And now you have gubernatorial candidate Mikey Sherrill screaming that her first order of business when she gets into office, she says, is to fix the high energy costs. Your party caused it, Mikey. Don't make it sound like you're not told, like you don't have blood on your hands for this. Your party unnecessarily caused the power problem in New Jersey. Every state around us doesn't have this problem but us. And so we have to import power from other states, which is why our power bill is the highest of any in the entire Northeast now. Thank you, Democrats. This is why you guys are going to stay out of power for decades, if not a century. I smell that your party is going to go by way of the Whig Party. Bye-bye. There'll be something else formed, but I think the Democrats have put a nail in the coffin. Governor Murphy expressed skepticism about Democratic gubernatorial nominee Mikey Sherrill's plan, you hear me, to freeze utility rates in her first year if elected. Sherrill, see, now there's a little conflict. Sherrill's trying to distance herself from Governor Murphy, sort of throw him under the bus, and he's saying, oh, yeah? I'm going to throw you under the bus, lady. So Sherrill is aiming to tackle those soaring electricity costs that were caused by the Democrats, proposing a state of emergency to halt rate hikes, but Murphy questioned its feasibility, citing complexities with private sector energy firms. Sherrill's campaign insists that she has the authority to act decisively, while critics, including Republicans, blame Democratic policies for the rate increases. The debate continues as energy costs remain a key issue in this year's race for governor. And Republican candidate Jack Ciattarelli was in Ocean Grove over the weekend talking to supporters about some of the issues dominating the race, including energy, taxes, and even plastic bags. On New Jersey's Sean Thrunk was at the rally to speak to supporters and opponents.
Very unusual event today.
On Friday, August 22nd, Republican gubernatorial candidate Jack Ciattarelli threw a lawn party in Ocean Grove.
Executive order number 1 on day 1. No town in this state will be a sanctuary city, and we will not be a sanctuary state. Executive order number 2, we're going to bring back to work all of our state workers. They're working from home post-pandemic. If any of you try getting somebody on the phone, try to get issues resolved, you can't. Also on day 1, I appoint an attorney general that supports both police and parents here in the state of New Jersey. And when we talk about support police, what we're talking about is getting rid of cashless bail, which has created professional criminals. People have learned how to game the system. Talk to your local cops. Arrest, release, repeat is real. Those cops will take the handcuffs off, let them do their job, and mark my words, there'll be no flash mobs on our Jersey shore when I'm your governor. That attorney general will also support parents. We're getting rid of policy 5756. If you don't know what that is, here's what it is. This notion of school districts keeping secrets from parents is immoral, it's indecent, it's wrong, it's dangerous. No longer will a school district be keeping secrets from parents when I'm your governor. You'll also get on day 1 of my administration a new energy master plan. I'm never telling you what car you gotta buy. I'm not telling you how to heat your home. I'm not telling you what appliances you have to buy. We're pulling out of Reggie, and you mark my words, there'll be no wind farms off our Jersey shore. And if you feel that strongly about it, we'll get you your plastic bags back at the supermarket too.
The party brought a sizable crowd of supporters.
I just am a firm believer in his policies and everything he's about, and I'm sick of paying high taxes, and it's time to right this state.
We need law and order. We need bail reform. We have to work on our education, and we have to reduce the taxes and protect our families, and especially women's sports.
No matter who wins this race, they're going to be screwed because the next governor is stepping into a mess.
Across the street, protesters took to the boardwalk.
I'm just here demonstrating. I grew up in this town. I'm not a fan of the Republican Party, and so I grew up here. I love it here, and I'm just here to peacefully spread some kindness and just kind of show my objection that this is really not a ballot that I agree with.
Today we're out here just showing that Jack Ciattarelli does not represent the town of Ocean Grove, and we're here to show that there is opposition to him, and he is not our candidate for governor, and he's not who we want up there. We want to keep New Jersey blue.
I just want to let it be known that, what I stand for as a human being and what I'm going to be voting for. And, I think other people need to see it, and they need to see people out who care about politics, who care about what is happening within their state, and hopefully inspire some people to get out there and do it themselves.
And while there was some clashing,
proving it. You cannot debate. You cannot.
Most interactions remained peaceful.
You know what I like very much? Maybe we should all just turn around for 1 second and wave to all those people on the boardwalk with those signs. Let's all wave for. Let's get our priorities right. You'll have them right when I'm your governor. Let's win this damn race. As we like to say, it's time. It's time. So let's get it done.
For On New Jersey, I'm Sean Thrunk.
Thank you to Sean for that. It is 7:31, and former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton may face criminal charges over his alleged emailing of highly sensitive classified materials through a private server. Can you say Hillary Clinton? Now, FBI officials are questioning why the Biden administration shelved the case in the first place. You had evidence of a crime, and yet you shelved it. Could it be that Bolton was anti-Trump? Methinks that could have something to do with it. So on Friday, Bolton's Maryland home got raided, also his D.C. office, to look for highly sensitive national security documents. Remember they raided Mar-a-Lago? And here President Trump was the president. He had every right to declassify documents. Bolton had no authority to do that. The alleged crime was first identified in 2020, yes, as Trump was leaving office, by people in the Biden administration. A very specific intelligence capacity identified potential problems, and that helped produce damning intelligence that Bolton had, quote, transferred classified documents to his wife and daughter from his White House desk before Trump fired him in September of 2019. So he suspected he was going to be fired, and the allegation is he took top secret information, sent it to his wife's email and his daughter's email. That's the allegation. So not even so much that he shared it with his family, but that was an open server that anybody trying to hack. And you don't think Russia and China was actively looking at his family's emails? Well, now Trump's Justice Department is questioning if the Biden FBI's decision not to further pursue the case and investigate it against the Trump critic may have been politically motivated. Yeah, think the case, described as airtight by some investigators, was so buried that FBI Director Kash Patel didn't even find out about this until a month after his February confirmation. So the Biden people and the people who are not elected but appointed, who work for the Justice Department, kept all this hush-hush. That's why they should all be fired. When a new administration comes in, everyone should be fired. Everyone should be fired because they're trying to hide, to cover their tracks. So they didn't want to tell Kash Patel that this existed. Federal agents say they found a lot of potential evidence both at Bolton's home and at his D.C. office. Don't be surprised if he spent some time behind bars. It is now 67 degrees at 7:33. When we come back, New Jersey Globe editor David Wildstein will have the latest on New Jersey's political scene with the Inside Edge. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jeanette Hoffman, host of Energy Matters. Join me every night at 6 p.m. where we're discussing energy affordability, challenges, and solutions with stakeholders and elected officials. Join me weekdays at 6 p.m. on Energy Matters on ONNJ.
Very good morning to you. 69 degrees now at 7:34 on Monday, August 25th, 2025. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. A little patchy fog in some spots this morning. Sun and clouds mixed today. Highs low to mid 80s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the detailed Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. It's our transition day. We're going from the humid, muggy morning to dry weather by later on this evening, and temperatures moderate as those winds out of the west start to cool us down by this afternoon. So a little bit of a foggy start from Atlantic City down toward Ocean City and Cape May. However, with more of the drier weather coming in by this afternoon, temperatures drop off by the end of the day and feel more comfortable as well after a lot of sunshine throughout the afternoon. Sunset 7:39, so really losing daylight quickly now as we head into the end of August. And the last of the clouds now working their way across northern New Jersey. They'll be completely gone probably by lunchtime. And if you plan to head toward the water this week, I think today might be our last day of the high risk of rip currents because the seas look much calmer beginning tomorrow. It'll really look great as well. Oh, and water temperatures are falling too. Remember how we were in the upper 70s, even some low 80s just a few weeks ago? Well, now we're back into the lower 70s. So with the high tide happening later on tonight, after after this evening, we'll be looking forward to some calmer waves ahead. The reason for that is Fernand is way out to sea. I mean, here's Bermuda, so you can see just how far east it is in the Atlantic. Not a threat to land, and not going to be an issue for us, even as far as waves or clouds. So with our forecast turning dry throughout tomorrow, we get a few more clouds by tomorrow afternoon, maybe a sprinkle, but it's predominantly dry for the rest of this week. It's reinforcing shots of drier weather that keep coming through and lowering the temperature, even lowering the humidity day by day. So going into this afternoon, there's the cold front pushing on by. Tomorrow could have another maybe batch of clouds, but it's more clear weather behind that moves in. And then for Thursday, another round of dry weather just in time for the weekend as we enjoy a very pleasant Labor Day forecast and Labor Day weekend ahead. The 7-day is clear. I mean, there's nothing more than a few passing clouds again on Wednesday, 76 as the high. Look at those morning lows down in the 50s. This is for Newark, mind you. For Thursday morning, only climbing to 79. So a cool start, a dry afternoon, a very comfortable finish to the day. Friday, 80 and sunny. And then Saturday is gorgeous as well, 79. Could be some more clouds by Sunday, but beyond that, I think we look great even across New Jersey for the weekend. The shore points have slightly more humid weather, obviously, with that sea breeze each afternoon, so it doesn't get as chilly, maybe just mid to low 60s by the end of this week, but highs hold in the upper 70s. And then by Saturday and Sunday, have a pretty decent looking weekend ahead. Mid 70s, lots of sun. And I'll show you the wave heights coming up, Ken, how it is very calm for the remainder of this week out across the oceans. We saw all of the imagery from the angry looking oceans and all of the flooding that occurred over the weekend. The exact opposite this week into this weekend. Nice calm seas, so great beach weather ahead.
Good deal. So if you have a cruise plan, this is a good time for the ship to go out. Not like last week. I'm sure last week was not so
Yes.
pleasant. All right.
No.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. Definitely. 68 degrees right now, 7:38. Let's take a look at some of the mess we have here on the roadways. First, we have you want to do the 130 cam first if you have it. If you have the 130 cam, go ahead, Pam. It's a down pole on Route 130 in both directions south of the Turnpike, Pennsylvania Extension in Florence Township. Look at this absolute mess. So all lanes are open northbound. That's the left side, but on the right side, that's the southbound side. All lanes are closed. This is due to a down pole once again. And you see crews trying to get that fixed so that we can get on with our day. But that's causing an absolute mess down in Florence Township. Again, all lanes open northbound on 130, all lanes closed southbound on US 130. Just south of the turnpike. So just try to avoid that area if possible. On Route 17, we have a down pole in both directions south of West Ramapo Avenue, and that's in Mahwah. All lanes are now closed on 17. Again, south of West Ramapo Avenue, Ridge Road in Mahwah Township. We have a crash on the turnpike, the ramp to southbound Garden State Parkway from Interchange 11 in Woodbridge. The right shoulder's blocked. So we could show this we had earlier. There was that truck. You see, this is a different shot. So on the right side, you could see what looks like the breakdown there in that ramp. And that is again on the New Jersey Turnpike ramp to southbound Garden State Parkway. So you could see that you can't get on the ramp as a result of the breakdown. And we have let's see, they just moved this on me. Delays on the Garden State Parkway southbound exiting 130BA, US 1 in Woodbridge Township. There's about a mile delay, all due to volume. The Hudson River approaches Lincoln and Holland moving beautifully this morning. So is the GWB upper and lower levels, 8095 approach, all reporting 10 to 15 minutes. 7:39, it is now time for politics. From Trenton, explained like no one else can do it, here is New Jersey Globe editor David Wildstein with the Inside Edge.
Good morning, everybody. It's Monday, August 25th. Welcome to the Inside Edge. The 1964 Democratic National Convention was in Atlantic City 64 years ago this week. It was a defining crossroads in modern American politics. It was the moment that President Lyndon Johnson stepped out from the long shadow of the martyr John F. Kennedy, and he secured the nomination for the presidency in his own right. It was the stage where civil rights icon Fannie Lou Hamer and the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party mounted their historic and heartbreaking bid to unseat Mississippi's segregationist delegation. And it ended on a soaring note when Robert F. Kennedy electrified the delegates with an emotional address that left the hall in tears. In her testimony before the Credentials Committee, Hamer offered stunning eyewitness testimony about being fired from her job as a sharecropper and being evicted from her home, about being viciously beaten and jailed, all because she tried to register to vote and to register others. The chairman of the Credentials Committee was the governor of New Jersey, Richard Hughes. He was a former judge who worked to settle disputes on the basis of non-discrimination. He offered a compromise, said that he would seat 2 delegates from the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party. Hughes was largely praised for his leadership at that convention, but some, like Hamer, walked away unhappy, saying we didn't come all this way for 2 seats. But Hughes helped pave the way for a racially integrated Mississippi delegation to the convention 4 years later. So you remember this was 9 months after JFK's assassination. Johnson was consumed by the idea that he might be forced to offer Bobby Kennedy the vice presidency. Convention week began without delegates knowing who LBJ would pick. Hughes had made a quiet bid for vice president. His name was on most of the short lists printed by the media, but historians seem to agree that Johnson had decided to pick Hubert Humphrey long before he announced his choice at the end of the week, and that Hughes and others were just there to keep people guessing. As for Atlantic City, well, the reviews weren't great. Democrats from across the nation and the media that followed them there, I mean, they panned Atlantic City's dilapidated hotels for its crappy plumbing. The negative stories all but ruined the city's reputation, dramatically hurt its tourism, at least until casino gambling brought people back in the late 1970s. This was the first and only time New Jersey had ever hosted a national political convention. It's unlikely that that'll ever happen again. Anyway, have a great day, everybody. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, David. I would love to talk to David about something the New York Post is reporting on today. I just saw online. We haven't confirmed this, but the New York Post says that President Trump is suggesting, not confirming, that former Governor Chris Christie could be investigated in connection with Bridgegate. And the president said that no one is above the law. So, and the Chris Christie used to be a pro-Trump guy. Now he's sort of an anti-Trumper. And it seems that anyone who crosses President Trump, at the very least, gets the wrath of the government checking him out. Would behoove you not to do that. So we'll see if that ever comes to something. I'd love to talk to David. David Wildstein checks this out. So David, give me a call. Let me know Let us know what you think about that. 744. Rhode Island Assistant Attorney General, whose arrest went viral earlier this week after she seemingly tried to use her position to evade arrest, telling officers, "You will regret putting me behind bars." Well, she's now on unpaid leave. Special Assistant Attorney General Devon Flanagan, her name was, who was arrested for trespassing, was placed on paid leave after the incident while the Rhode Island Attorney General's office reviews the matter. It's not clear how long Flanagan will be on unpaid leave until a final determination is made on whether she still has a gig. And New York mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani raked in over $1 million in campaign funding in recent weeks, out-earning both former Governor Andrew Cuomo and incumbent Mayor Eric Adams. Forget about poor Curtis Lewa. He's not raising much at all right now. Mamdani raised the cash through a pool of donations from his grassroots campaign efforts between July 12th and August 18th. Meanwhile, Andrew Cuomo's donations totaled $541,000, and Eric Adams fundraised $425,000. Mamdani's dominance in the campaign funding realm has also translated into a clear lead in the polls. Early August surveys show him leading the five-person field race by double digits, about 11 points, in fact. And another water main break in Paterson Saturday morning as a 42-inch main on North First and Arch Streets sent water and mud flooding through the city. The Passaic Valley Water Commission says this has no connection to the earlier break this month. Residents in the Riverside section may now face low or no water pressure service. A boil water advisory remains in effect for parts of Paterson, Prospect Park, Haledon, and North Haledon. No timeline for repairs has yet been announced. Our time is 7:46. We have 68 degrees. When we come back, a major pharmaceutical company that is New Jersey born and bred celebrates its 25th anniversary. We'll tell you how this Tris Pharma. I'm going to do that whole thing again because they deserve it. When we come back, a major pharmaceutical company that is New Jersey born and bred celebrates its 25th anniversary. We will tell you about how Tris Pharma celebrated their anniversary by throwing a statewide day of giving. Some patchy fog this morning, then mixed sun and clouds today, highs in the low to mid-80s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta returns with your full Garden State forecast, and we'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. Don't go away. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, 7:45 on your Monday morning, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Little patchy fog this morning. Mixed sun and clouds today, highs low to mid-80s. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the Garden State forecast. Good morning to you, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. A pretty decent looking day. Lots of clouds throughout the morning, but clearing for the afternoon. And with that sun warming into the mid 80s, it'll feel more refreshing as the day goes along. Even though it's a bit muggy to start, I think the afternoon will feel much better as the wind shifts and that drier weather settles in. Speaking of dry weather, we've had a lot of it. Back in a drought for most of northern New Jersey with that tan shading. Picked up a little bit of rain last week, but not enough to quell the almost 2 to 4 inch rainfall deficit in many areas. So as we keep an eye down toward the tropics for our next big rainmaker, this is our next area, which you see the system kind of dissipating there as it crosses over the Leeward Islands. Might not become a named system, but it's our best chance. Back closer to home, look at how calm the waves are. Those shades of green and yellow, as you remember from last week, indicate really rough surf, but we are tapping into that lovely, serene, calm blue shade that lasts right through this week. So a very calm sea ahead with no big waves forecast, even through this upcoming weekend, which is great news for the beaches, especially since last week it got pretty rough, obviously, with the storm just offshore as Erin was churning up the seas. The forecast through the middle of September, at least the first week, puts pretty average temperatures across most of New Jersey, maybe slightly cooler than average at the shore, and then the dry weather persists with most of the drought conditions spreading at least into the rest of New Jersey. Even on the 7-day, there is no significant rain forecast, just a few sprinkles, maybe later today and tomorrow night. But beyond that, Wednesday's a little cloudy, 76 as the high, clearing for Thursday, 79, and 80 on Friday. You'll also notice the humidity departs most of this week, so it will feel less humid even into the upcoming weekend, with weather at the shore also looking pretty fantastic. Highs in the upper 70s, excellent weather to enjoy without kind of sweating through your shirt by the end of this week. So pretty decent weather ahead, Ken, as we take it into the last week of August.
All right, Mike. Thank you, sir. When you say last week of August, I want to cry, but thank you, sir. I appreciate that. It is 70 degrees right now in northern New Jersey. Trenton is 67 degrees. We take a look now at Route 17. There is a downed pole on Route 17, both directions, south of West Ramapo Avenue and Ridge Road in Mahwah Township. All lanes are closed. It's about 2.5, 3 miles from this point right here where we're showing you. So these cars are going to be driving right into it, the ones coming toward us. In just about 2 to 3 miles from that point. We also have a crash and a down pole on North Avenue westbound to Kapowski Road in Elizabeth with one right lane blocked, and a down pole on Route 130 in both directions south of the Turnpike, Pennsylvania extension in Florence Township. Maybe we could show this again, Pam, if you want to bring up that Route 130 cam. Again, this is in both directions south of the New Jersey Turnpike. There we go. Pennsylvania extension. Thank you, Pam. This is in Florence Township. All lanes are open northbound, which is the left side of your screen, but they're closed southbound on the right side. This is causing an absolute nightmare for the folks in Florence Township this morning, so just avoid it if you can. The Hudson River approaches right now, the upper and lower levels of 8095 approach to the GWB moving beautifully. Same thing with the Lincoln and Holland. Everything to get into Manhattan there, all about 15 minutes. Not bad at all. 751 and just, there we go. Thank you. So there's the upper and lower level GWB approach. Beautiful move. It's about 15 minutes in on that approach. So it's 7:51 now, and to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the company, Tris Pharma didn't just throw a party, it threw a statewide day of giving, rallying employees from all across New Jersey to clean parks, support animal sanctuaries, and pack backpacks for local students. On New Jersey's Lisa Marie Falbo has the story of how Tris Pharma marked 25 years, not just with celebration, but with service.
Today, Tris Pharma marked its 25th anniversary with a statewide day of giving, rallying employees from across the company to give back in the communities in which they live and serve. At Washington Rock State Park in Watchung, employees spread out to clean up garbage that's been left behind.
Community service is a part of TRIS's value set, right? We give a lot back to not only our employees and to our patients, but we also make sure that we give back to our local communities, because it really is a homegrown New Jersey organization, and we want to make sure that we give back to where we're from, which is here in New Jersey.
Each and every company has like a responsibility for all the communities, so I think it is a great thing to do something for the community to pay back them.
Serving the community doesn't just mean helping people. Other Tris employees volunteered at Popcorn Park Zoo in Forked River to help clean up its animal sanctuary.
I absolutely love it. This is my first job that has ever given back to the community. I also love the zoo. I live down the street, so I just completely adore the idea of it, and I love just giving back to the community and to animals.
It's very important to places like this to get as many visitors as possible to help donate to the volunteer effort and the work here for the unreleasable animals that they rehabilitate.
Back at Tris Pharma's home base in Monmouth Junction, another team of employees is responsible for packing backpacks with school supplies to give to children in local schools.
It's been a great way to be able to give back to the community. We don't just care about the work that we're doing day to day, but we're caring about the community, about giving back and being more than just a company.
Today was especially important. It's a great way to celebrate the whole 25th anniversary, because a lot of our products, especially on the brand side, are very pediatric focused, and it's a local charity. We're helping our local community that in turn supports us as well.
From north to south, Tris Pharma employees rolled up their sleeves to support local organizations, give back to the communities in which they serve, and celebrate a quarter century of success and innovation. From New Jersey, I'm Lisa Marie Falbo.
And it is proudly New Jersey, born and raised, that company. So we should be very excited that they are from here and doing so well. It is 7:54, a tragic loss in South Jersey. 22-year-old Nick Denbrowne, a promising baseball star, has died in a car crash It happened last week, August 18th, in North Carolina. The Barnegat native and Ramapo College's all-time strikeout leader, Dan Brownie, had recently signed with the Bakersfield Train Robbers, a minor league team. Police say that he was thrown from a vehicle driven by 63-year-old Rosario Edgar, who also died. His friends say Dan Brownie had a competitive spirit and infectious humor. A GoFundMe page has raised over $36,000 so far for his family. 7:54, New Jersey health officials warn NJ Transit riders may have been exposed to measles by a Hudson County resident who traveled on trains while infectious. The exposure risk spans August 13th to 15th on the Hudson-Bergen Light Rail, Path Newark World Trade Center line, and stations in Bayonne and Jersey City. Symptoms could appear as late as September 11th. Officials urge anyone suspecting exposure not to just show up at a doctor's office or ER. Call your doctor first. And if they tell you stay home because you don't want to potentially spread the infection if you have it. 7:55, tensions flared in Trenton on Thursday as community members confronted ICE agents making arrests in the Chambersburg neighborhood. Remember, if you get in between an ICE agent and somebody they're arresting, you're violating federal law. You could go to jail. So apparently, Mayor Reed Gushura said that agents chased a person to a home on Bayard Street, leading to a standoff after a warrant was denied. Congresswoman Bonnie Watson Coleman incorrectly criticized ICE for not following protocol. She had said one man with a pending green card was detained. What the Congresswoman does not understand, and it's an embarrassment that she's a United States Congresswoman and doesn't know federal law. Just because you have a pending green card, it means absolutely nothing. I could have a pending driver's license. I could have a pending gun permit. But if I get caught with a handgun and I don't have that permit yet, it's pending, I go to jail. If I have a pending driver's license, I get pulled over for speeding. Guess what? I'm driving without a license. And just because you have a pending green card does not mean you have a green card. It means absolutely nothing. So ICE agents were doing nothing wrong. Technically, if you have a pending green card, if that's for real, if it really is a pending green card, and that's just what she was told, you're supposed to be waiting in your home country to see if you're approved. Unless you're here legally, you're only allowed to be here a certain limited amount of time on a visa or your passport. After that, you have to go back to your home country. It's true. I have a friend of mine who owns property in the Dominican Republic, and he has to come back to the United States every 30 days. That's the law, and he does. You have to follow the law. So I don't understand how a United States Congress member, an elected official, does not understand the law. Either she is ignorant and should not be in her elective office, or she is lying, or some combination thereof. Very sad that people keep electing someone like that to that office. 7:57, New Jerseyans buying health insurance through the Get Covered New Jersey marketplace face a 16% premium hike, 16 that is, in 2026, according to state officials. The increase will affect over 500,000 enrollees, stemming from rising healthcare costs and expiring federal tax credits. Nearly 90% of users benefit from subsidies from the Fed, which save $700 a month. Oh, excuse me, a year, not a month, a year. Open enrollment starts November 1st, with experts warning lower income families may face severe financial strain if that federal aid is not renewed. And Governor Murphy signed 2 bills on Friday to boost New Jersey's so-called renewable energy, aiming to curb soaring electric prices that Murphy and the Democrats themselves in Trenton caused to soar in the first place when they closed down 5 fossil fuel plants and 1 nuclear plant before any so-called green energy plants could even be proposed, let alone built. One bill would supposedly add 3,000 megawatts of community solar, powering 1 million homes by 2028. Doesn't help us now, though. While the other funds 1,000 megawatts of battery storage by 2030, with up to $10 million in incentives per project. The problem is, again, those power rates are going to stay ultra high as they are, highest in the whole Northeast, through the roof between now and then, especially as tech companies continue to demand more and more power to run AI, cloud storage, and more electric vehicles hit the market. Totally avoidable problem that the Democrats caused when they ordered the closure of these fossil fuel plants that were generating perfectly good electricity before they basically tried to put the cart before the horse to force the construction of so-called green energy plants. The problem is those green energy plants didn't get built, may not be built for 5 or more years, and in the meantime, we're stuck with electric bills that are through the roof because we have to import energy from other states. And they only sell energy on the rare occasion that they have an overage of it, which isn't all the time. 7:59. It is 68 degrees. When we come back, we'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. Some patchy fog this morning, mixed sun and clouds today, highs low to mid 80s. The full Garden State forecast in a moment. You're watching on New Jersey Morning, seen daily at ONNJ.com, Roku, Fire TV, news on Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, YouTube, Facebook, and X, and now streamed live on Substack, Rumble, and Twitch at twitch.tv/on New Jersey. We'll be right back. Very good morning, 8 a.m., Monday, August 25th, 2025. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Some patchy fog this morning, mixed sun and clouds today, high low to mid 80s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with a smile on his face and a check of a nice Garden State forecast today. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. The weather is doing that. It's putting a smile on everyone's faces. You've got some clear sky on the way. A little bit of a muggy start, but that doesn't last long because this time tomorrow it will feel much cooler and drier thanks to the front pushing through today. That means a few clouds around this morning. So you wake up with partly sunny skies over toward Hackensack, 72, 68 in Atlantic City, but a much drier feeling on the way throughout this afternoon. It's actually a little bit warmer than it was this time yesterday, anywhere from 2 to 7 degrees. And there's still a noticeable amount of humidity around. Anytime dew points are in the 60s, feels a little humid, even some dew on the car tops. Well, throughout the afternoon, as the clouds you see going on by move on through, that gives us a westerly breeze today, and that will allow the temperature to drop and the humidity to fall as well. So it'll become much drier throughout this afternoon. Even with the southerly breeze at the ocean, that gives way to a west wind by this evening and allows for a nice drying, even toward the beaches, which will drop temperatures into the 50s by later on this evening. So this afternoon, lots of sunshine developing. Temperatures hold in the mid 80s. It'll feel much cooler throughout this evening, dropping off into the 70s. And then, check this out, 50 tomorrow morning in Sussex, 52 in Morristown, 62 in Newark, a good 10 to 12 degrees cooler than the current temperature. And tomorrow afternoon only rebounds into the upper 70s, maybe getting to 80 in Hackensack. So a nice dry feel to the day. A few more clouds maybe tomorrow evening could bring back a sprinkle, but it's the drying effect and the cooler breezes that'll feel very pleasant each afternoon throughout the day on Wednesday and even into Thursday morning. Getting to 49, it gets so chilly by Thursday morning. It'll feel lovely. Let you know that fall is around the corner and the dry weather lasts throughout the rest of this week. So you'll feel the low humidity today and really through the next several days. Speaking of some tropical weather, Fernand way out to sea and stays there. Not an issue for land, and it is a fish storm, like we've been saying, as it loses its tropical characteristics likely in the next few hours. So with the temperature dropping off throughout Wednesday and Thursday, holding in the upper 70s only, the 59-degree start on Thursday morning will feel lovely. We'll tell you more about the weekend weather for the holiday. That's coming up with your weekend forecast, Ken, in just a few minutes.
You know, all the folks who labor and work very, very, very hard, they deserve a nice holiday. So good for us, right? For having that good news for them. So thank you so much, Mike. It is 68 degrees right now at 8:03. We take a look at the, well, this is a minute ago we had traffic on it. I'm telling you, this is Route 1 and 9 at Route 3. Now, you see on the bottom left there by my name, Ken Rosato, that was a line of traffic because apparently we have a disabled vehicle at the Lincoln Tunnel Center Tunnel eastbound with the right lane blocked. And I think they may have just cleared it because now it's opening up and moving. But nonetheless, just beware that there might be some residual delays. And this is by Weehawken in that area. or east, what do they call it? North Bergen in that area. A disabled vehicle, Lincoln Tunnel, center tunnel eastbound. Just be aware of that with the right lane blocked. We also have a crash. I'm going to go right to the GWB cams if we can, Pam. So we have a crash now on the GWB. It may not be showing up at this cam yet, but it will by the next report. So let's take it. Okay, so there's the 8095 approach of the GWB. This crash was just reported a moment ago on the GWB lower level eastbound from the New Jersey side, rather, Fort Lee. So the left lane is blocked. So we're talking about the lower level that will be on the left. So the next time we get this camera shot, which will be in 15 minutes, those left lanes by that sort of rust object over my name. Again, it's over my name. My name gives you all the traffic. You're going to see a line of traffic there. That'll back up by then. I guarantee it. The Lincoln and Holland tunnels, or I should say the Holland tunnel specifically, is only 10 minutes. Lincoln is reporting about 15. 8:04 is our time. With the world of journalism constantly evolving, it's always exciting to hear about young talent making waves. Dani Mazariegos is a recent graduate of Montclair State University, great school, and has already made a significant mark in the field. Now, I want to just, as a journalist, I want to just emphasize how significant this winning is. Dani has won not one, but two prestigious Murrow Awards in the student category for her outstanding work on Focus, Democracy, Our Election, and Arizona Stories, Border, Water, and Politics. The Edward R. Murrow Award is the epicenter of awards, bigger than any awards in journalism, basically. Very few others even compare. There's maybe one other, I won't even mention it. But this is huge. So I want to make sure you understand how big this is for her and for anyone in journalism. An impressive achievement, especially considering the competition in the industry. Dani, good morning. Congratulations. What an incredible feat. And not one, but two. You must have freaked out.
Yeah, it was definitely took us took us by shock. Good morning, Ken. How are you?
Good morning. I think people outside the industry and people of my age know who Edward R. Murrow was. I mean, he was a super journalist, CBS News, going back to the 40s and 50s. Of course, younger people wouldn't know the name. But in terms of the importance of the Edward R. Murrow Award, it's not like everybody gets one. Very few. It's historic when you get one. So what was the process like for producing the stories that you won those awards for? And how did it feel when you found out that you were the winner of not one, but two?
I mean, being from little Montclair State University, we're small but mighty, so it was definitely
Yes.
a big win for all of us. We won for Focus Democracy, Our Election, which won in the video hard news category, and then I played a much smaller role in that one. I was just a producer, but we also won for video newscasts for Arizona Stories, Border, Water, and Politics. It was definitely a lot of work. Both productions are run by students primarily, so we had to, put together our stories, and we had to do a lot of work in order to get to a show that we felt comfortable submitting. And when you submit for these big awards, you never really think anything's going to come with it. You kind of just do it, put it aside and hope for the best. So when we got the news that we ended up winning, it took us by shock, and it was a great surprise.
Yeah, just to give you an idea and give folks an idea of the level to win this award. When I was at Channel 7, I had gotten there. I was not part of I want to clarify, I don't want to mislead. I was not part of them winning a Murrow Award, but they had just won a Murrow Award just before I arrived. Of course, once I arrived, they never won another one. No, that's not true. But they had won a Murrow they had won a Murrow Award for their coverage on 9/11, which if you go online and watch Channel 7's coverage of 9/11, it's compelling. Whenever they show the annual, every year on 9/11, they show it again because they don't want people to forget, and rightfully so. The people at Channel 7, NJ Burkett, all the other people I worked with there, they won because they literally put their lives on the line as buildings were falling behind them, covering this live, and they had no idea what was going to happen. They for all they knew, they could have been next. Nina Pineda. These people were just amazing. But that is the level that it takes. So for you to get that recognition says you're damn good at what you do. So both of your projects focus on some very heavy issues. Why those specific topics?
So I'm going to start with Focus Democracy first. That production primarily came, that's a semester production that we always do. And usually how it works is students decide what we want to talk about. And with the upcoming election back then, the presidential election, everyone kind of was in agreement that we should focus on what college age students are thinking about the election, what issues are they thinking about. And that's kind of how that was born, and how, most of the stories that we focused on were issues that would really affect college students, with whatever was going to be decided in the election. Obviously, we know the answer now. That was way back, way back then. But it was a really important project because it was about college students making stories about what affects college students. So that was a really important project for us. And Arizona Stories was incredibly impactful. I got the opportunity to senior produce that, and I also had the opportunity to produce the lead package on asylum policies on the border. And especially, you know, it was just such an incredible experience, and it was such an eye-opening experience, especially for young journalists, to be able to get the opportunity to kind of share those stories and work on productions such as that. It was just it took a lot of work, I won't lie. It was a lot of calling and a lot of research and a lot of time spent focusing on, trying to make our packages the best that they could, trying to make these stories the best that they could, researching. But it was, honestly, I'm just so proud of what the team, everyone involved, because there was a lot of people that took that to make this possible. So very proud of what we accomplished.
Dani, is your work online? Can people check it out online?
Yes. So both Focus Democracy and Arizona Stories you can watch at Hawk Plus, streamstreakhawkplus.com. This is our Montclair State University's streaming service. So please make sure to check it out. I think it would be really great. But yeah, I also believe that it's listed on the website, where the National, for Student Work, on the Murrow winners is listed. So
I
please
should
check it
hope
out.
so. I should hope so. I mean, this is a big, big, big deal. And you just graduated. Congratulations from graduating Montclair State. How important would you say your professors and peers were in helping you produce those stories?
Oh, incredibly important. I did not do this alone, not at all. And it would be kind of impossible to do this. I think a big thanks is to specifically Mark Efron, Bernard Gant, Steve McCarthy, Thomas Franklin, all of them, Tim Sheld, all of them, uh, really, really, incredible professionals in their field, and also as professors they were the guiding hand throughout this entire process, and it wouldn't have been possible without them, especially for Focus Democracy. I was just a mere producer on this project. But the executive producers, Ashley Corby, Izzy Conklin, very own ONNJ, and Peter Gajewski, they need a round of applause. And then my team from Arizona, my co-producer Izzy Conklin, um, and everyone involved in our project. Definitely, everybody played a huge role, and it wouldn't have been done. It really does take a team to get this type of work done, especially because there's just so much. But we are just so incredibly proud of what we were able to walk away with. So.
And you should be. That God bless you. I mean, that is just awesome. When I read this, I had to double take. I said, wait, 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 wait. They won two? She won two? That's awesome. I mean, I know journalists obviously I've been I'm 58, been in the business since I'm 12. I haven't come close to winning a Murrow Award. It says everything about the quality of your work, about how hard you put in. And when you're very humble about it. Yeah, I was a mere producer. I'm sure being a mere producer, you put a lot of hours into that. And because you don't win a Murrow Award, even as a quote unquote mere producer, unless you work your tail off, and you deserve that award. You clearly earned it. Of course, I'm asking a silly question, but journalists have to do that, right? What would you like to do with your life? Do you want to focus on journalism? And what kinds of stories, if so, would you like to focus on?
Oh, I 100% would like to continue with my career in journalism. I would like to be a multimedia journalist. That's the goal right now. I also would love to go into producing. I mean, this is simply just the beginning, and it's a pretty good beginning to start off with, to start my career
Yes.
off with. But I definitely want to continue going forward, especially with local news. I feel a lot of these projects, um, I think local news is the base of a lot of things that are going on, and it's so important, as you know. So
Yes.
I
Yes.
definitely would like to go more into local news route, but you never know. Who knows what's going to
Danny,
happen?
you
I mean,
are
we didn't think that we would win a Murrow, and here we are.
anybody,
So
any, let me just say this, and I'm not blowing smoke. Any local news operation that gets you is very, very lucky. Very
thank
lucky. It's not often that you get an Edward R. Murrow winner coming in saying, I'd like to work for you. Before you would finish your sentence, I'd say, when would you like to start? That's how I would hire you. Listen, I'm sorry, I worked at Channel 7. I worked at an NBC affiliate upstate. I worked at CBS ONO in Miami. I worked at Fox 5 in New York. I worked at all, and I'm telling you, they would go crazy to hire you. You will. The only thing I pray, because the industry is contracting so much right now, I just pray that it is there in some form for you, for at least a time for you to enjoy it, because I hope you have as much joy as I had working for the mainstream media when I did. I really hope you enjoy it and you get that time. Right now, it's contracting so fast. If worse comes to worse, it's changing. And there are channels like this that are starting all over the place. So at least you'll have another opportunity that way. But I just want you to experience the fun and the enjoyment of putting together on deadline a TV news show on a daily basis. It's the best experience in the world. So you're just amazing. Any other awards in your sights? Are you looking on you, now that you have the Edward R. Murrow under your belt? What else would you like to go after?
You know, you never know. We won a college television award, college Emmy for the Arizona project as well. So, I wouldn't mind the real one, the national one. So, let's hope for that. But I'm kind of content where we are with standing with these projects. It's not a bad feat to start.
So let me remind people. So now you've won. There's really only one other award, you know. I mean, you won well, maybe two. You have the Associated Press Awards, but you've won an Emmy and you've won an Edward R. Murrow. The others would be obviously Associated Press, and I'm of course forgetting the name of the really, it's more of a print journalism award. But those are the big ones. I mean, you got them all.
Yeah.
So God bless you. If by the way, and I'll say it live on as we're online here on the air. If you ever want any advice from old timer me, feel free to reach out to the station. I'd be more than happy to sit down and talk with you if you ever need connections or whatever.
Thank you, Ken.
It
I
might hurt
appreciate
you.
that.
It might hurt you if you use my name these days. But nonetheless, if I could help out and make some connections, I'd be more than happy to. Edward R. Murrow Award winner. It sounds so nice. For student journalism, recent MSU grad Daniela Dani. Is it Mazariegos? Do I have it pronounced properly? Or do
Have
you
it
say
perfect,
Mazariegos?
Ken.
Right. Thank you. Want to make sure I got it right. Thank you so much, Danny, for joining us. Come back again. All the best to you in your future career. You will be very high, soaring very, very high in that career. We were lucky to have you on today. God bless you.
So much. Have a good one.
All right. Thank you. Amazing, amazing woman. 8:17 right now. We have 69 degrees. When we come back, New Jersey's own Tris Pharma marks a major milestone. We'll take you to the gala. Some patchy fog this morning, mixed sun and clouds today. Highs in the low to mid 80s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta returns with your full Garden State forecast. And we'll take calls at 888-658-0234. You're watching on New Jersey Mornings. We have not won an Edward R. Murrow Award. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jeanette Hoffman, host of Energy Matters. Join me every night at 6 p.m. where we're discussing energy affordability, challenges, and solutions with stakeholders and elected officials. Join me weekdays at 6 p.m. on Energy Matters on ONNJ.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, 818. We're taking calls at 888-658-0234. Some patchy fog this morning. Most of it's burned off, though. Most of the areas. Mixed sun and clouds today. Highs low to mid 80s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta is standing by in the wings with the Garden State forecast. Mike, I feel like I can't even polish her shoes. We had an Edward R. Murrow and Emmy Award winner on, and she's just
Wild.
getting out of college. Talk about
Incredible.
overachiever. She's got to
Yeah,
show
no,
off.
seriously. I know. Forget the resume. Just talk about those two things on the job interview. Done.
Right. How does it
Immediately
feel?
hired.
How does it feel to go interview somewhere and the person interviewing you has 1/10 the skills that you have?
A little overqualification. But we
Right.
we like the overachieving, even in the weather, considering how it's going to feel lovely this week. None of the stubborn humidity after today, none of the cloud cover again after today. Today's a little bit cloudy across most of northern New Jersey, and we'll see the sun eventually return throughout this afternoon, bringing back a lovely feel with a westerly breeze. But until then, a little bit of cloud cover, some fogginess, the humidity on the higher side, and temperatures in the mid 80s. But it will be a stark contrast to tomorrow after the front pushes through and drives in some very pleasantly comfortable weather without all of that humidity. And it's all due to this front sliding off from the west. That'll move on through today. It could get a few more cloud batches tomorrow, but beyond that, it'll feel great overall. It really tells the story in the humidity department. The dew points are dropping throughout this afternoon into this evening, all the way into the 40s and 50s. That'll feel lovely, even at the beaches. So you wake up tomorrow morning, it'll actually feel a little chilly and dry, and that'll be the case every morning this week with that reinforcing dry weather. 30s down in Camden. That's not air temperature, but that's dew point. I mean, it's very dry. That's like October levels of dryness that take us into the rest of this week. Beyond that, Saturday looks beautiful, and I think Saturday morning starts off sunny, stays dry all day. Great weekend to head out toward the beaches. Look at that, clear all day on Sunday. Couldn't ask for better weather here going into the end of the day. I think Monday could have a little bit of cloud cover that works its way northward through the day, but we're still dry, and that's key. So we'll have to wait till Tuesday for our next opportunity for some rain, and we'll take it given how lovely the weather's been. Fernand, soon to be ex-tropical, headed out to sea, not a threat to land. So our forecast keeps it dry through Saturday, gorgeous on Sunday, highs in the mid-70s, very pleasant, and with that low humidity, Ken, it'll feel fantastic headed into the last week of August.
Nice. I like those two words,
Yeah.
fantastic, especially when you put them together. Thank you very much, Mike. 71 degrees already right now in northern New Jersey, 68 in Trenton at 8:21. Here's something that's not so fantastic. If we take a look at it, this is the New Jersey Turnpike. Look at that ugliness. There is an overturned vehicle on the Turnpike northbound entrance ramp by Interchange 11, which is the Garden State Parkway in Woodbridge. It seems that wherever there's a problem, whenever there's a problem with the Turnpike, you can count on this for, I think it's the bend. You see that bend? There's something about that area. Almost every day there's an incident in Woodbridge on the Turnpike. Literally every single day. So this is the two right lanes blocked, and this is causing about 3 to 4 miles of delays right now. Again, overturned vehicle, New Jersey Turnpike northbound entrance ramp, interchange 11 by the Garden State Parkway, Woodbridge. 2 right lanes blocked. We have a down pole right now, Route 17, both directions, south of West Ramapo Avenue, Ridge Road, and Mawa. All lanes are closed there, and a crash and a down pole on North Avenue westbound to Kaplowski Road in Elizabeth with a right lane blocked. Down pole on Route 130, both directions, south of the Turnpike, Pennsylvania Extension in Florence Township. All lanes are open northbound. We've been showing you that shot too. All lanes are closed southbound. It's a mess in Florence. And the approaches to the Hudson River right now. The Lincoln Tunnel is about a 15 to 20 minute crossover time, 10 minutes at the Holland. Let's see if the upper lower level of the GWB has changed. It has not. So apparently there was an issue earlier on the lower level that has been cleared. We thought by now you'd see a buildup on the left side there of traffic, but apparently it's been cleared, so it's only 15 minutes to get into Manhattan, upper and lower level on the GWB. 8:23 is our time, and Tris Pharma marked a major milestone, celebrating 25 years in business with a big bash in New Jersey that brought together employees, community, and the man who started it all, CEO Keaton Mehta, who began Tris in his own basement Toast to the decades of teamwork, innovation, and dedication that have made the company what it is today. On New Jersey's Lisa Marie Falbo takes us to the party.
On New Jersey is here at the Palace at Somerset Park to celebrate Tris Pharma's milestone anniversary.
With 25 years in business, Tris Pharma marked the milestone with a celebration to remember. CEO Ketan Mehta, who started the company in his basement, says tonight is about honoring the employees who made this success possible.
It is really all the people here make us really where we are. And thanks to the hard work, dedication, we are really able to grow and continue to really prosper.
With more than 600 guests in attendance, the pride of the Tris family was on full display.
It's very easy to get up every morning and work for a company like that.
They treat people like equally, everybody, so I love it.
Kaden, you have such a great company. I would always work for this one.
After a night of dining and dancing, the company is already looking ahead to the next 25 years.
I think our focus has been our R&D, the innovation, that we focus on the technology, and we have continued to develop using different products, opportunities.
As Tris Pharma looks to the future, tonight's celebration is a reminder that dedication, teamwork, and family are truly at the heart of success. For On New Jersey, I'm Lisa Marie Falbo.
New Jersey is very lucky to have Mr. Mehta and that company here. And talk about innovation, starting a company in your basement, and it's one of the most powerful and most successful pharmaceutical companies helping people in our country. Amazing. Congratulations to their anniversary. It is 8:25. Governor Phil Murphy expressed skepticism about fellow Democrat gubernatorial nominee Mikey Sherrill's plan to freeze utility rates in her first year if elected. So apparently they're throwing each other under the bus. Sherrill aiming to tackle soaring electricity costs. By the way, soaring costs that were caused by her own party because they forced the shutdown of 6 power generating plants because they were dirty before they could start green energy plants to take up the slack. Well, Sherrill proposed declaring a state of emergency to halt rate hikes the minute she gets into office. But Murphy questioned the feasibility, citing complexities with private sector energy firms. Because why couldn't he just do it right now, right? Sherrill's campaign insists that she does have the authority to act decisively, while critics, including Murphy and Republicans, blame Democratic strategies, or at least the Republicans blame the Democratic strategies and policies for the rate increases. The debate continues as energy costs remain a key issue in this year's race for governor. Bottom line, if you don't mind paying the highest electric rates in the entire Northeast, the northeastern 15 states of the United States, New Jersey has the highest per megawatt power rate because the Democrats forced the shutdown of all those power plants before they had green plants online. So if you think that's a good thing, then reward the Democrats by voting for Mikey Sherrill. If you think it's a bad thing, then don't do that. Simple as that. But you have people who just keep voting Democrat no matter what because they know no other way. You know what? Then stay home. If you can't vote Republican, stay home. 8:27. Republican candidate Jack Ciattarelli was in Ocean Grove over the weekend talking to supporters about some of the issues dominating the race, including energy taxes and even plastic bags. On New Jersey's Sean Thrunk was at the rally to speak to supporters and opponents.
Very unusual event today.
On Friday, August 22nd, Republican gubernatorial candidate Jack Ciattarelli threw a lawn party in Ocean Grove.
Executive order number 1 on day 1. No town in this state will be a sanctuary city, and we will not be a sanctuary state. Executive order number 2, we're going to bring back to work all of our state workers. They're working from home post-pandemic. If any of you try getting somebody on the phone, try to get issues resolved, you can't. Also on day 1, I appoint Attorney General that supports both police and parents here in the state of New Jersey. And when we talk about support police, what we're talking about is getting rid of cashless bail, which has created professional criminals. People have learned how to game the system. Talk to your local cops. Arrest, release, repeat is real. Those cops will take the handcuffs off, let them do their job, and mark my words, there'll be no flash mobs on our Jersey shore when I'm your governor. That Attorney General also support parents. We're getting rid of policy 5756. If you don't know what that is, here's what it is. This notion of school districts keeping secrets from parents is immoral, it's indecent, it's wrong, it's dangerous. No longer will a school district be keeping secrets from parents when I'm your governor. You will also get on day 1 of my administration, a new energy master plan. I'm never telling you what car you got to buy. I'm not telling you how to heat your home. I'm not telling you what appliances you have to buy. We're pulling out of Reggie, and you mark my words, there'll be no wind farms off our Jersey shore. And if you feel that strongly about it, we'll get you your plastic bags back at the supermarket, too.
The party brought a sizable crowd of supporters.
I'm just a firm believer in his policies and everything he's about, and I'm sick of paying high taxes, and it's time to right this state.
We need law and order. We need bail reform. We have to work on our education, and we have to reduce the taxes and protect our families, and especially women's sports.
No matter who wins this race, they're going to be screwed because the next governor is stepping into a mess.
Across the street, protesters took to the boardwalk.
I'm just here demonstrating. I grew up in this town. I'm not a fan of the Republican Party, and so I grew up here. I love it here, and I'm just here to peacefully spread some kindness and just kind of show my objection that this is really not a ballot that I agree with.
Today we're out here just showing that Jack Ciattarelli does not represent the town of Ocean Grove, and we're here to show that there is opposition to him, and he is not our candidate for governor, and is not who we want up there. We want to keep New Jersey blue.
I just want to let it be known that, what I stand for as a human being and what I'm going to be voting for, and I think other people need to see it, and they need to see people out who care about politics, who care about what is happening within their state, and hopefully inspire some people to get out there and do it themselves.
And while there was some clashing,
Proving it. You cannot debate. You cannot.
most interactions remained peaceful.
You know what I like very much? Maybe we should all just turn around for 1 second and wave to all those people on the boardwalk with those signs. Let's all wave there. Let's get our priorities right. You'll have them right when I'm your governor. Let's win this damn race. As we like to say, it's time. It's time. So let's get it done.
For On New Jersey, I'm Sean Thrunk.
72 degrees at 8:30 when we come back. When you turn on all those protections on your smartphone, you have nothing to worry about because those big tech companies have to leave you alone, right? Well, not so much. Brand and digital strategist Fisher joins us to talk about how at least one major company wasn't following the rules. Phone lines are open, taking calls at 888-658-0234. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. We'll be right back. Very good morning to you. It is Monday, August 25th, 2025, 71 degrees at 8:32. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to On New Jersey Morning. Some patchy fog this morning, mixed sun and clouds today, highs mid-80s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the detailed Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. We've got a really decent day ahead with plenty of sun by this afternoon. A little cloud cover around this morning. You see that here on the visible satellite as the sun rises. Some of those clouds working through southern New Jersey and northwestern New Jersey as the front is slowly marching eastward, driving out some of that humidity and the cloud cover today. So we start our day on a pretty muggy note, but turn much drier and more comfortable by this afternoon, setting the tone for the rest of this week. That will send highs about 10 degrees cooler than they are today. Sunrise at 6:17, sunset at 7:39, so a much shorter day compared to earlier in the summer. And then even as we head closer toward the summer solstice, we've got plenty of beach weather that's great this week. Today being probably our last day of the high risk of rip currents, thanks to the winds calming down and the ocean waves being much more relaxed by the time we get to tomorrow and Wednesday. Water temperature still in the 70s, so not chilly, but not terribly warm as compared to a few weeks ago. And with Fernand so far out to sea, it's not an issue for our New Jersey waves, at least going into the rest of this week. So big vacation week across New Jersey. Look at all that clear sky going into tomorrow. Likely some clouds by dinner time tomorrow afternoon, maybe a sprinkle up north, but nothing really to worry about. I think we're dry for the remainder of the week, thanks to this front doing a great job of clearing us out and bringing back plenty of sunshine throughout Wednesday and Thursday. Lots of clearing as well by the middle of the week. And we stay dry as well through Thursday as the high pressure swings offshore and allows for a beautiful weekend ahead. So into the rest of this week, temperatures cool off into the 70s in the afternoon, upper 50s by Thursday morning. It'll feel quite cool. And then by Friday afternoon, warm to 77. So the weekend's looking great. Lots of sunshine on Saturday and Sunday with high temperatures holding in the mid 70s. And then a little taste of fall as we head into the last week of August. Lows in the low 60s, highs in the upper 70s, just running a few degrees below average. But the weekend, even down at the shore, mid 70s. Couldn't ask for a more perfect weekend weather. Remember, that's in the shade. It'll feel a little warmer in the sun. Beautiful all around New Jersey this weekend.
I love how every time you go to toss back to me, you say the words below average. I think it's just a coincidence, but I don't know. I'm just
No, I added beautiful this time, right? I tried to twist it a little bit, but
that's because my mother called you. I know how it works. I know. She used to dangle a pork chop around my neck so the neighborhood dogs would play with me as a child. It's just it's a long story. That's
and
an
we have
old
to wish her a
Rodney
happy
Dangerfield.
birthday. It just passed, right?
It did. Thank you. Yes, she is happily 87, and she looks like she's 57 and acts like she's 37. It's crazy. That's mom. But thank you very much, Mike. I will make sure she sees this video. I appreciate you. We'll check back, Mike. Thank you. It is 71 degrees now in northern New Jersey. We have 68 degrees in Trenton at 8:35. And in terms of traffic, check this out. This is the New Jersey Turnpike. Overturned vehicle now, northbound entrance ramp by Interchange 11, Garden State Parkway in Woodbridge Township. 2 right lanes blocked. It's causing about 2 miles of delays right now. We have a down pole on Route 17, both directions south of West Ramapo Avenue and Mahwah. All lanes are closed. We also have a crash and a down pole on North Avenue, westbound to Kapkowski Road in Elizabeth with the right lane blocked. That's causing about a mile of delays through downtown Elizabeth near the airport. We also have a down pole on Route 130 in both directions south of the New Jersey Turnpike, Pennsylvania extension in Florence Township. The folks on the left side there, they are headed northbound. Those lanes are open, and that's no problem at all. But on the right side, those lanes are all closed. That is a main thoroughfare, and that's going to be for hours before they get that fixed. So just avoid that if possible. Your Hudson River crossings, Lincoln and Holland tunnels, both 10 to 15-minute crossing times. Your GWB, also about 15 minutes right now. We take a look at the 80-95 approach, upper and lower levels, moving just dandy. 8:36 is our time, and when you turn on protections on your smartphone to prevent apps and, more importantly, companies from tracking you or finding out other information about you, you would expect that would be accepted and followed, right? Well, it seems Meta is one of those companies, possibly a number of companies, that may have been ignoring your decision. Brand and digital strategist Fisher, who could be found on X, Threads, and Instagram with username @Fisher, and through his website, fisher.media, joins us now with the details. Good morning, Fisher.
Good morning, Ken.
So you use all these protections on your phone. You think you're fine. The big tech companies are going to ignore you. You know, if you say you don't want your data being shared, et cetera. So what was going on with Meta?
So a former Meta product manager claims that Meta bypassed Apple's app tracking transparency privacy protections that were introduced in iOS 14 back in 2021. The alleged bypassing was intended to mitigate an estimated $10 billion revenue loss due to Apple's restrictions. Now, you might remember this, and more if you're a tech geek like myself. Apple said that they were going to default asking to track to off. So by default, you are not allowing apps to ask you even, right? So you can't even turn it off if you wanted to. It's automatically off. So Apple's policy requires apps to obtain explicit user permission for tracking. And again, it was by default turned off, so Meta could not even ask for permission. You'd have to go into your privacy and settings, privacy and security settings on your phone and turn it on if you wanted to. Meta is also accused of inflating advertising performance metrics, misleading advertisers about ad effectiveness. Now, the product manager also claims he was fired by Meta for repeatedly flagging these issues, though Meta denies it and says that his dismissal was for unrelated reasons. The allegations were filed in a United Kingdom employment tribunal, highlighting a potential year-long pattern of deception by Meta. Meta allegedly used, and this is important because the problem isn't necessarily that they went around. That is because by default, you're saying, I don't want you to track my comings and goings on websites and apps and things of that sort. Meta used deterministic matching to link user data across platforms, even when denied consent, violating Apple's policies. Now, the way that they do this is not easy, but your phone has a device ID, your watch has a device ID, your browser has a browser ID. We talked about this a couple of months ago. Some information like what Wi-Fi you're connected to, how much battery life is left on your phone, what type of operating system you have, iOS 16. Do you have the iPhone 15 Pro that's 15 inch screen size? All of these data points are fed on the back end to a data collection area, and apps and websites can identify you by those pieces. So if I'm always connecting to On New Jersey's guest Wi-Fi, and then I come home and I'm connecting to my Wi-Fi, those are two data points. Now it'll know the type of that I have an iPhone, all of that. So Meta used these different data points to put the information together to know that I was me, even though I explicitly said, don't track me across these devices. But this is what apps do all the time. They use your email address. We've talked about this, and I've stressed, try not to use your email address across all data points, meaning your banking information, Delta Airlines, SkyMiles login, Marriott, Hertz, whatever it is, however you travel, whatever you do, because all of this can be tracked. And Meta just went around Apple's standardization of not requesting the data and used it, and then continued to match all the data behind the scenes as they do.
Fascinating. It's just amazing. And we just take things for granted. You just assume a big, reputable company like that, that wouldn't happen. We also assume that a big, reputable company like that would not have employees who would slant politics and block certain sites, et cetera. But we've been told otherwise, right? So it is what it is. It is a private company. 841, and driverless taxis are coming to a city near us, like maybe New
Yes,
York. And what should we
possibly.
know and expect with the next Uber ride?
So as of now, Waymo, which is Alphabet, Google's autonomous vehicles subsidiary, received their first permit from New York City's Department of Transportation to test self-driving in the city. So testing has begun already using 8 Jaguar I-Pace SUVs in Manhattan. So if you're in Manhattan or downtown Brooklyn, through the end of September, you will see those cars. They're the white cars with the lights and the spinny things on the roof. Now, by the permit, a trained safety operator, a driver, must remain in the driver's seat with at least one hand on the wheel at all times, as required by New York state law. They are not currently picking up passengers during this testing phase. They are seeing how it interacts with traffic and pedestrians and construction and all the things that make New York and all of our cities what they are. So it still requires a separate license from the city's TLC, Taxi and Limousine Commission. The company must regularly meet with the New York City Department of Transportation to ensure compliance and safety. Now, what this means eventually is, as it is rolling out in different cities, Phoenix, Austin, Atlanta, Georgia, is that eventually when you request an Uber, you may get a car with no driver, nobody in it. Now, again, there's a lot of testing, but it is all part of launching a robo-taxi service in New York City, which would be Waymo's most challenging urban environment to date. Obviously, New York is its own thing, right? If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. So I guess that's what Waymo and Alphabet is hoping, that they can successfully roll out in New York City. Now, I can tell you from what I see around town here in Atlanta, there are some issues. there are some
Mhm.
issues with the car just randomly stopping, things of that sort. No, smacking into walls and things of that. But because of the way that Waymo navigates, it does cause some issues because the thinking on the fly, if you will, is not there yet compared to, say, a Tesla robotaxi.
I love it. Well, I was laughing. I don't know if you saw my image there, laughing when you said that for now, as they test, the driver has to be in the driver's seat and have at least one hand on the wheel.
So they're
The last
driving,
10
right?
times I've taken car services in Manhattan, they haven't had one hand on the wheel as it is. They
That
use
is
their
fair.
knees and what gets me too is there is a law. I guarantee most people don't know this. I only know this from having been an anchor in New York for 150 years. There is a law that says it's TLC Commission law in New York City. You cannot be on a cell phone if you're a driver,
Mm-hmm.
even with hands free. Yet,
Mm-hmm.
as God is my judge and witness, I have not been in a cab or an Uber or a Lyft in New York in 20 years where when you get in the car, they're not
Yep. Have
talking on
their
the phone.
earpiece in. Absolutely.
Right. Now, granted, it's hands free, but the law says you can't be on the phone, period. And I don't want to be rude because this guy's at the wheel, but yet that is the law. They don't
Yep.
follow it and it doesn't get enforced. So I'd be willing to see if this gets enforced. Well, I would think in the beginning it will, but then we'll see what happens.
So I think that the way that this works with the cars is the same way I think my car, and I'm sure your car, that you have the lane, to keep within the lane.
Right.
You can remove your hand, and then eventually the car will tell you that you need to put your hand on the wheel again. So they probably have sensors, and then also because of the level of this autonomous driving, it's being reported back. So at least in this part, and again, they're not picking up passengers; they're just doing the mapping, the scoping, the testing.
Right.
So that's the important part too, is that everything is being reported back compared to my Ford is not reporting back to Ford whether or not I had my hand on the wheel as I was going down the road and ignored it when it beeped or whatever. That I'm not saying I do that. I'm just saying as an example. But everything with this testing will be reported back. So I'm sure the requirements there are a lot higher, and also they're Google employees, so they're a little more than a typical just driver in the car.
Gotcha. Well, I'm sure they'll be very careful in the beginning. We'll see what happens. All right. Brandon, digital strategist Fisher, who can be found on X, Threads, and Instagram with username @Fisher, and through his website, fisher.media. Thank you for joining us this morning, Fisher.
Thanks, Ken.
You bet. It is 71 degrees right now in northern New Jersey, 68 in Trenton. When we come back, teachers get the royal treatment at one Seaside Heights destination just before it's time to go back to school. We will explain. Patchy fog this morning, sun and clouds today, highs mid-80s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta returns with the full Garden State forecast. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. We're back in 30. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, 846, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta for a final check of the morning with the Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. It's going to be a beautiful day, a nice summery feel with the higher humidity, and then there I am. And then as we head to later on this evening, we'll start to cool things off a little bit, especially after temperatures that reach the mid-80s midday. We're back down into the upper 70s as soon as this evening with that drier breeze. Notice with the drought still going in northern New Jersey, this is a recurrence of the drought. That's a moderate drought up in northern New Jersey due to the very persistently dry weather over the last few weeks. We've seen a bit of an improvement over the weekend, but again, still anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of a rainfall deficit just in the last 30 days alone. Keeping an eye to a next potential area for never mind, it just went away. So no development in the next 7 days in the tropics. Don't you love graphics that update automatically? With all of the clear sky, even here in New Jersey, with calmer waves, the light shade of blue, the darker shade of blue indicates very low wave height. So not a concern at the beaches with a beautiful beach week ahead. We'll even see slightly lower than average temperatures going into the first week of September. And then even into the first week of the month, I think the weather remains slightly drier than average as some of that dry weather persists. Even on the 7-day, plenty of dry weather ahead, nothing more than a few maybe sprinkles tomorrow evening, but mostly just clouds. And then I think we're back to sunshine Thursday and Friday with temperatures waking up in the 50s in the morning. By Thursday morning, climbing back into the mid 70s only this upcoming weekend. So slightly below average in terms of temperature, but overall a beautiful feel and dry weather ahead with those cool, crisp mornings feeling like fall as we head into September, Ken. A nice dry way and pleasant way to finish out summer.
Pleasant is a good thing. Thank you very much, Mike. We appreciate you, sir. 8:48 right now, 72 degrees in northern New Jersey, 68 in Trenton. We take a look at the New Jersey Turnpike. I'm just pausing a second because we have a different camera shot we're going to show you. There was an overturned vehicle reported on the Turnpike northbound entrance ramp by Interchange 11, the Garden State Parkway in Woodbridge, with two right lanes blocked. So this is a different angle we're taking. They just cleared uh, that accident, the overturned vehicle. They just uprighted it, took it off to the shoulder. So a minute ago, it was stopped. Then we had traffic moving. Now it's kind of stopped. So you can imagine up ahead, just beyond that camera shot, the tow truck must be taking the vehicle off. So it'll be stop and go. So avoid that area another 10, 15 minutes, and then I think you'll be fine. Again, that's the Turnpike entrance ramp by Interchange 11, Garden State Parkway in Woodbridge. Crash and down pole, pardon me, North Avenue. That is westbound from Kapkowski Road in Elizabeth, about a mile delay through there. And we have some delays on Route 4 eastbound from west of Hackensack Avenue and Hackensack to Bell Avenue and Teaneck. All lanes open, but about a 2-mile stretch of slowdown. We also have delays on the Garden State southbound exiting at 130 BA in Woodbridge. That's about a half a mile delay due to volume, but something tells me that because that is right near where that accident was on the turnpike, that's where they actually meet. So the fact that they both have slowdowns in that same vicinity tells me they could very well be connected. The Hudson River crossings right now, it's 15 minutes at all of them across the board. The Lincoln, I keep saying the Harlem, like it's the Harlem Line train. The Lincoln, the Holland, and the GWB, all moving 10 to 15 minutes getting into Manhattan. 8:50 is our time. With the school year about to begin, Casino Pier is celebrating the unsung heroes of our classrooms, our teachers. Maria Mastoris, who is marketing director for Casino Pier and Breakwater Beach and Seaside Heights, joins us to talk about an exciting teacher appreciation event that's happening tomorrow, Tuesday, August 26th. It's a chance for teachers to relax and have some fun before the back to school rush with a special free ride and slide pass just for them. Good morning to you, Maria.
Good morning. How are you?
Great. Thank you. Happy Monday to you and a beautiful day. What is the teacher appreciation event all about?
So every summer, obviously, teachers are off and then they have to get back to school. So we love to kind of send them off to before they go back with a fun day at the water park and the ride pier. So our teachers tomorrow, August 26th, enjoy a free ride and slide. So they get to go to the water park for free and ride all the rides on our amusement pier for free, just to say thank
That's
you and good
awesome.
luck to the school year.
When did you guys first come up with this event?
We've probably done this now for maybe about 4 or 5 years. We used to do it in the beginning of the season, and now we're like, you know what? I think we gotta like a last hurrah before they go back.
Nice. So describe Casino Pier and Breakwater Beach. What do teachers need to check out when they get there? And for anybody who wants to come down and take a look at the place, what are the key features that you have there?
Sure. I mean, like you just said, that the weather is going to look great this week, so it is important to come down. We're at an amusement park on the boardwalk in Seaside Heights, and also a water park, an arcade, a lot of food stands. Basically, so much fun for every age. So the teachers, bring your kids, bring your wives and husbands and friends, and just have a great time before you head back.
And teachers, of course, work so very hard. They don't always get the appreciation due them for their efforts. What has the response been to word of this event?
We've had a great turnout every year. Luckily, it's been a nice day every time we hold it, so that helps. But I think the teachers really appreciate them being noticed and us saying thank you. So they have a fun day with their family and friends. It's a very nice event.
Yeah. Sweet. And teachers are going to get a free pass, but there are also some deals, right, for family members who may want to come along?
Yeah, we have an early bird special for our water park, our eat, putt, and play on the boardwalk. So there's a lot of other deals that you can find on our website for the rest of the family as well.
And talk about some of the other events that Casino Pier has been involved with over the years.
Sure. I mean, in October, we have a first responders touch a truck event that's really great. This is our last week of summer events. We have an a cappella group coming down. We have a lot of characters for the little kids. We've had so much dinosaurs and princesses come. So there's a whole lineup that we had a really good summer. And we continue it throughout the fall and the winter in the arcade.
And what is a website so people can get more information, find out how to get there, etc.?
Sure. It's casinopiernj.com.
CasinoPierNJ.com. When did you first come on board, and are you from New Jersey? Did you always know about the place? Because New Jersey has
Yes.
such great places like this.
Yes, it does. I've been here now 12 years. I started actually right after Hurricane Sandy. I was thrown into that, so that was fun. But I've always
Mm.
had a shore house right in South Seaside Park in Midway Beach. So it was always growing up. My family took me and my cousins and my sisters to one day at the boardwalk. So I was always there growing up. And then for some reason, I saw this job 12 years ago, and I've been there ever since. So now my kids get to enjoy it.
And Superstorm Sandy, though, did quite a number. What was it like when you first got there and you saw what the results of Superstorm Sandy were on the Casino Pier and Breakwater Beach?
It didn't seem real. I mean, even like I said, going there when I was younger, I remember what it looked like. And then just getting there and seeing just devastation. Like there was so much destruction. But I'm lucky to work for a really great family that they rebuilt. And we came back the next July. So it was a lot of work. And every year since then, they've rebuilt new things, they've added new attractions. They're always up and coming. So it was a hard hit, but everything is back and wonderful. And everyone come visit.
Amen. Yeah, when that storm, I remember I worked at Channel 7 in those days, and I remember it was an iconic scene. Everybody showed the water, the Ferris wheel
Coaster in
in
the
the
ocean.
water, and oh my God, that was just, and it just broke your heart because it sort of said that all the joy that everybody always associates with the Jersey Shore, it was like it was stolen from us for a short time.
Yeah.
And I mean, just it says so much about the resilience of people who live here, the people that own the place, that they weren't going to let that stop anyone. That New Jersey bounces back strong in a crisis, and you can't stop us. We're tough. We're tough people, and that's
Jersey
that. It's
strong.
so
That was the
beautiful.
message.
Amen. And it's the truth. It really is the truth. So, all right. So if I want to make a plan to come down this weekend, first thing I should hit when I come down to Casino Pier and Breakwater Beach, what's that?
I mean, I would just jump right into the wave pool. I mean, the sun looks like it's shining. Why not cool off? Just jump right in and splash a little bit.
I love it. All right, Maria Mastoris, who is the marketing director for Casino Pier and Breakwater Beach in Seaside Heights, one of the iconic locations for New Jersey. Really, we're so proud that you are part of the state. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Have a wonderful week. I was going to say weekend already. I'm thinking ahead. But have a
I
wonderful
wish.
week and enjoy the beautiful weather. Really,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Nice to
Bye-bye.
have you on. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's just amazing, when I remember, and I'm sure you all did too, to see the Ferris wheel in the water. It was almost like that scene in Planet of the Apes when they came upon what was New York, and you saw just the torch of the Statue of Liberty kind of rising up, and that was all that there was. And it was sort of symbolic of two things. It showed the collapse of humanity, but it also showed the resilience, if you will. Same thing with that Ferris wheel. You saw it just get eaten by the ocean in Superstorm Sandy, and at the same time there was a sort of resilience. It was like you took us down, but it's not totally down. If you remember, it was still sticking up out of the water, and that sort of said, "We're not gone. You may have knocked us down, but we're not gone." Just amazing that they were able to rebuild that park and make it so beautiful. Seaside Heights is so beautiful. The Jersey Shore is such a diamond, and we're so lucky to have it. So, meteorologist Mike Favetta, by the way, is telling us we're going to have mixed sun and clouds today. Really pretty day, not too humid. Highs in the low to mid 80s. So if you want to get outside and enjoy your lunch, that's the way to do it. Today is the day to certainly enjoy it because then things take a little change because it will get a little cooler through the week with some mornings. As Mike said, toward the end of the week, we're going to see mornings that start out in the 50s. And that's when you get that little taste of fall as the kids are starting to get back to school. Kids are already back at college. And that is going to be that for summer. We officially have another few weeks of summer, but unofficially, you know that once school starts, that sort of it. By the way, Pam, do you like? I'm going to ask Pam. I know she drinks tea. Are you into pumpkin flavored stuff? I made the mistake of buying pumpkin flavored coffee. She doesn't drink coffee, but she likes pumpkin flavored donuts. All right. Well, I'll give you my pumpkin flavored coffee that I just bought and didn't like, and you can make coffee pumpkin donuts with that. How about that? All right. And that, my friends, is on New Jersey Mornings for your Monday, August 25th, 2025. I'm Ken Rosato. And remember, you could always stream us at ONNJ.com, Roku, Fire TV, News On, Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, YouTube, Facebook, and X. And now we stream live on Substack, Rumble, and Twitch. All you have to do for Twitch is go to twitch.tv/on New Jersey. If you like what you saw, tell business, put us on in your business. Stream us free of charge all day long. We'll catch you tomorrow morning starting at 7 a.m. In the meantime, have a great day. Thank you so much for watching On New Jersey Mornings with Ken Rosato. We'll see you again tomorrow.